Welcome to Terror in Tandem, a podcast about finding entertainment in the macabre, hosted by the knowledgeable and lovable Laura and Richard Mathiasen. Each episode we discuss the horror genre, from books to film to TV and beyond, sometimes even from the beyond. You can find us on YouTube and Instagram at Terror in Tandem, and you'll always find our latest episode on our website, terrorintandem.com.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, it's
welcome.
Lovely to see you.
It's lovely to see you and to be here.
For the first time all day.
Yeah, it's great. Great news all around. Hello and greetings and salutations and hello.
I have been let out of the cellar. And I understand that it is on a probationary basis.
Yeah, it's on a need to know. And I need to know if you can be trusted.
I can answer that right now. I cannot. So, but before I go back downstairs, let's check in.
Yeah.
Let's do a check-in. The weather outside is delightful.
Yeah, we won't tell you what it is. You can just imagine.
Yeah, we don't need you geolocating us.
But it is, and we are, and things are great.
And it's, I'm only happy when the weather's like this.
Yeah, so we've been making sure really that we've been following through with our recommendations. You know, people, when we say we recommend this for the month, we go and
we do
read or watch.
Shit, let's just talk about it real brief if we can. We saw 28 Years Later, and
we did.
It was
amazing.
Loved it. It was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And in 28 weeks, or probably 27 weeks from now, we'll have
coming out January, I believe.
Thugs in Harmony.
The Bone Thugs in Harmony Temple.
Yeah, the Bone Temple.
Which directed by Terror in Tandem fave Nia DaCosta.
Yeah.
Really excited about that. And then it is official. They will be rounding out the trilogy, and Danny Boyle will be returning to direct. So Alex Garland's writing all three. Nia DaCosta is directing the middle installment, and Danny Boyle's bookending it. And gosh darn it, I'm not going to say it's a good time to be alive because it objectively might not be, but
well, we are
it's a
alive.
good time to be
so
horror fans.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're doing it.
I was very excited after seeing this movie. It was such a pinpoint representation of where the UK is at this moment in the exact same way.
Love to hear from our UK audience as
For sure.
to what you thought of the film. Feel free to send us a message.
The same way that the original was an exact flash, like a snapshot of that moment. And the tone and style of the film really reflects that. It's a very different beast than 28 Days Later, but awesome.
Yeah, it still has the vibes, though.
And
don't worry about it.
Man, Ralph Fiennes continues to be one of the coolest actors.
Yeah, he's pretty weird.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's still dating Chelsea Handler.
Didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Wow. So checking in. What are you reading these days?
Well, I'm, working my way through my June recommendations with my...
Really?
I just finished King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby.
You did recommend that.
And I am about to start reading Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab.
I remember you recommending that because that's a lovely title.
Yes. And... With a Vengeance by Riley Sager is ready for me at the library.
Damn.
So I'm on a...
You're on a tear.
I am.
I want to say
in tandem.
You tore through that S.A.
so
Cosby book.
S.A. Cosby.
I heard a lot of late night exultations coming from your side of the coffin. No, just like
the coffin
that we share, our double wide coffin.
Gross. I would really like my own, please.
I know, but what will people say if they find out we sleep in separate coffins? Then the gossip will never end.
Yeah. So continue.
I know that you more than once, or having to put the book down for a moment, which is always an indicator to me that you are really enjoying the book.
Yeah. The worlds that he writes about, creates, and the characters, and you're just really there. And this book was great. No exception to his others, being awesome. And this is following suit.
May I
Loved
share
it.
a recent book journey?
I guess.
That's very.
No one asked.
I think I really redlined on that one when I snorted right into the. Anyway, so
clear your throat. That's really
thank
good
you.
content.
The audience loves the expectoration of my phlegm. So, I finally, after having known about this author my entire life and wanting to read him, for some reason or another, never did. I finally read my first Ramsey Campbell novel. UK novelist Ramsey Campbell. He's been writing since the 60s. He's one of Stephen King's favorites. He is an acclaimed author, not widely adapted for some reason. And I read The Hungry Moon, which is a title you did not like. However,
it sounds like a kid's book.
It was an extraordinary
or like a tween's
read.
book.
It was amazing, Northern English folk druid gods kind of shit. Fantastic. Couldn't have loved it more. I am so excited because this person's, again, been writing for like 6 decades, so I have a lot of new stuff to read. And that's my favorite thing is when you tap, an ore vein of a new author and you're like, oh my God, it's the mother lode. I've got all this amazing treasure to get through. So,
well, we just wanted to hold ourselves accountable that we are in fact making our way through our own recommendations so that for the end of the year wrap up, we will have accomplished as much as possible.
Indeed. And I want to just out of no sense of insecurity whatsoever, reassure the listener that I can read.
Yeah.
I can.
You can.
I can. I'm getting better every day. So, what are we talking about today? Speaking of doing things.
This is a fan favorite episode made you watch. We're going to talk about movies that one of us made the other watch and vice versa.
Oh my gosh. It is beloved fan favorite, award-winning by almost violent demand, made you watch. I am very excited. This was a real interesting exchange.
Yeah, well...
as they always are, but this one in particular.
Why don't you start with yours, though?
With my one that I made you watch?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Really? Okay. Now, as longtime listeners, which I assume all of you are, will know that I always try to find something that I believe my lovely wife and co-conspirator will enjoy, but will also maybe be outside her normal, what she would watch on her own. And I always want Laura to love what I watch, and that doesn't seem to always happen. So I really, really thought about this one. I chose 2014's Spring, directed by
The Spring Mouse,
Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson, my beloved favorite directing duo, who are now firmly owned by Disney and Marvel, and that's fine because it means they're making good, Marvel stuff. But on the other hand, it's like, I'd love it if you guys could make another one of your weird movies. Anyway, Spring is a little bit of a departure, but not really for these guys. So they're famous for movies like Resolution, The Endless, In the Dirt, Synchronic, indie, Lovecraftian, cosmic horror, mind benders, like really cerebral, weird, And as Guillermo del Toro described in his review of Spring and of the director's work overall, he describes Spring as one of the only Lovecraftian movies he feels is a success. And coming from Guillermo del Toro, who has been trying for 20 years now to make an adaptation of At the Mountains of Madness, it's high praise. The man knows his stuff. He's also Guillermo del Toro. Call us back, by the way. We would have you on anytime, senor.
Yeah.
Anytime, maestro.
He loves this show, though.
He does. Long time. Guillermo, we know you're listening.
Guillermo?
So, different Guillermo.
Did I do a good job?
You did. I love Kevin Novak. Kevin Troff? What's his name?
I don't know, but don't get
Shit.
Sidetracked.
Anyway,
This isn't your stream of consciousness podcast.
Spring
That's a different
is a bit of a departure for
podcast.
these two in that they usually star in their own movies, and they don't in this one. This stars Lou Taylor Pucci, who's probably best known from the very awesome 2013 remake of Evil Dead.
And it's Pucci, not Pusey?
Pucci. I mean, if he's Italian, it's Pucci.
Okay.
At
I
least
just grew up with somebody with the same exact spelling of the last name, and it was Pusey. But
Lou Taylor Pucci. I've heard it both ways.
I've heard it both ways.
And German actress Nadia Hilker, probably best known for The Walking Dead, are the stars of this movie. So basically, do you want me to tell you like a little bit about it or why I chose it for you?
Both.
So it's about Lou Taylor, whatever his last name is, has just lost his mother to cancer. He's a young man. He's on his own. He's really in pain. He gets into a fight at work. He gets fired, and he's kind of directionless. He decides, I'm going to Europe. So he travels around, and he meets Louise, and he falls deeply in love with this strange woman. They develop kind of a relationship. They have unprotected sex, which is important. And he starts to notice things about her, like the fact she may be a thousands of years old mutant monster. But he loves her anyway. It's a beautiful film shot on location in Italy. It heavily revolves around, the real life world history of the destruction of Pompeii, along with some really cool, like Lovecraftian monster lore wrapped in the middle. It's a lovely romance, in my opinion. I think it's about the destructiveness of love, the all-consuming nature of it, and in the end, changing yourself for another person in a very profound way. It was tender, horrifying, gross, beautiful.
Are those all the reasons you
strange.
wanted me to
Now,
watch
the
it?
reasons I wanted you to watch this is because in the past, I know with things like The Hellbound Heart, I pushed your comfort level a little bit. I thought this movie, with its Italian setting, its focus on Pompeii, which are two things I know you are very much in love with. You've been, it's affected you profoundly. I thought a bittersweet and sort of morbid romance would really speak to your kind of dark goth side, and also your lovey feminine side. But it's a fucked up love story, but it is, I believe, gorgeous. And I thought the Lovecraft and monster part of it might push your boundaries a little bit. I just thought,
well, let me talk about
like,
it now.
the beauty of it, the way it was set, some of the shot composition, I just thought you might
let
really
me
dig
talk
it.
about it
All
now, because
right.
you're taking all of the things I wanted to say from me. So yeah, it is a dark fairy tale romance. And what's interesting is, if you've ever been on vacation and have met and been kind of swept up with like meeting somebody who lives in that city, or who, like, a fellow traveler from another city, it had that very convincing instant chemistry between Evan and Louise.
Like youthful,
Yeah.
which is weird
And
if you think about
he
it.
was very impressionable. He's grieving, he's alone, a little bit desperate, and he meets this beautiful, she's stunning, she's foreign, she's exotic, she's very assertive. She basically says, let's get out of here and have sex. And like 2 minutes after they meet.
Yeah, and
of
also,
which he turns down, which I thought was really interesting, because he kind of was very captivated by her and did a really good job of conveying that subtlety.
I'm glad you saw that, because I thought Lou Taylor, whatever,
You can say pukey.
that's the compromise. I thought he did a lovely job of playing like someone who's young, in pain, means well, but not making great decisions.
No,
and
he's like
flailing.
a deer in the woods.
Yeah,
He's just
and he was
kind of,
sweet.
Like, all of his innocence is gone, and he
deeply
doesn't know
wounded.
where to go.
Yeah, yeah.
So she goes through some interesting changes. We see it before he sees it, which is always an interesting narrative device. She kind of starts to tell him once he discovers her in one of her forms, that she's ancient. And so one of the best parts of this film was through all of her different changings, she changes and metamorphosizes
different kinds of things.
Yeah, and she explains that because she's so old, she has to cycle through all these different ancient beasts until the final transformation.
Like there's a little bit of lore.
Yeah, listen, this is a body horror. This is a monster movie. And the production value for her change scenes are fine.
It's very independent.
It benefits from not showing like direct full views and like the shots of her different, I don't know, sheddings are limited.
Having seen the entirety of this directing duo's work, one of the things they truly excel at is the understanding that if you don't have a lot of money to do something, don't make it look like a fucking cartoon. Put some shadow in, quick shots, just hint. They really do know how to make it stretch.
This is a spoiler alert. So if you don't want to listen, just go past the section. And then maybe Richard will just say spoiler end. So Louise basically tells Evan that she's evolving into these different creatures every spring equinox in order to maintain her immortality.
Like once every 20th spring. She
has to become pregnant in order to do this.
Direct deposits.
And spring is the rebirth time line, and it's a metaphor for her metamorphosis, and she does this every 20 or so years.
20th spring.
And she has like she'll be in a different body. It'll be a different face. So the person that he's in love with as he's realizing this, if she does go through the whole thing, will be an entirely different person.
Doctor Who fans will know exactly what this is.
Okay. One of the other things that I really liked was the cinematography. They use aerial drones to do a lot of the shots.
Yes.
And it shows the beauty of Italy, both in the daytime and in the night. But also with kind of eerie soundtrack, because you don't know what's going on. Like, you really don't know what she is until she does the exposition dump with Evan and kind of explains everything. You have some illusions of what is going on.
When she takes out her contact and you see she has heterochromia and starts to look like all of these frescoes and paintings of ancient women that look a lot like her.
The cinematography also has this kind of sunny haze over it, so it feels very like a meadow in springtime.
There's a lot of like orange sky and sunset.
So it's very spring-like. And the early part of the film, when his mother dies and his town sucks, it was dark and paced a little chaotically. And then when he goes to Italy and throughout this romance with Louise, the pacing is slower and more intentional, like how you feel when you're going on vacation and taking time to explore the city you're backpacking.
It's also
through.
much brighter.
Yes, right, because of the spring of it all.
The what I truly appreciated about this movie was it doesn't end on an ambiguous.
No, it's like you said,
it clears it up.
The things you change about yourself in order to be in love with someone.
It doesn't beat you over the head with it. You have to watch the last few seconds of the movie to figure out exactly how the resolution is, but there is one. Mm-hmm. This movie does wrap up.
Yeah.
And it is complicated. Honestly, I've thought a lot about this movie since I see it, and I don't know.
You don't know if they're going to make it.
You don't know if it was right for him to ask her to do these things. And also, when you learn about the last time this happened, there's kind of a cool, lore story of what actually caused the destruction at Pompeii.
Yeah. And that's another thing that was featured was Pompeii. But it's Pompeii at night, and it's not really Pompeii.
No, they were not able to film it in Pompeii. But,
and you could tell.
There are fucking volcanoes all over the place.
But talking about Pompeii is nice.
They did make all of the bodies out of styrofoam,
Yeah.
So obviously they couldn't shoot in Pompeii.
there's also, so those are all the things that I really liked and appreciated about the film, and
Nice,
I took
nice.
away from it.
Yeah.
And here's some things that I didn't particularly like.
All right.
I felt like there was some filler storylines that didn't really need to be there, because I thought that we could have fleshed out this relationship a little bit more. I did appreciate that he went to work on this farm with the old man, but that was just a side story that wasn't necessary to drive the plot forward.
I mean, it kind of led him, once the immigration cops came, it gave him nowhere else to go but Louise. So
Yeah.
it's like you take away his only safety, and he like makes a dangerous decision.
Yes. But that was the only need for it. I mean, I would have liked a little bit more of, because her presence had an effect on flowers and other plant life.
Yeah. I know she's ethereal.
And he was running a farm, and maybe if she had gone to the farm and maybe some of the plants had suffered. I know there were some like plant issues.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought they could have done a little bit better
Could have been
of a job
explored
there.
a little bit more, sure.
So it seemed like it wasn't necessary. Also, I liked the dudes that he met in the hostel at first, and then they pieced out super quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been interesting to see them interact with Louise and maybe...
Counterpoint.
Yes.
Further isolation. When you're
Right.
traveling and you're alone, especially in a country where you don't speak the language, and I've been there.
They should have done...
You meet a couple of people. This has happened. So, like, this has literally happened to me. I've been in a hostel in Germany, met a couple of people. They showed me around for a day, and I just sort of started to rely on the fact that these people were nice to me. They spoke English, and they would show me around. But then they pieced out somewhere else because, of course, they did,
Yeah.
man. They got their own plans. And I felt a rush of loneliness and also, like, otherness of being like, I had sort of started to let my guard down a little bit because I thought I was, okay, I'm with these people that will look out for me. And then I felt more alone having met them and lost them than I did when I first arrived in the city.
And that's what you're bringing to the film. I don't think the film did an effective job of creating that. He's a orphan.
I just think him being abandoned over and over again, it kind of further leads him to Louise.
Of course. And we're all making those conclusions, but I don't think that in the film it was an effective device that it could have been. It really
for sure.
could have been.
I should say this
could have
was
been a little
their
bit more desperate and attached to her, like where was, being like, where were you? Like, because where was she a lot of the times when she,
This was their kind of transition film.
Yeah.
Like before this, they had done Resolution. They had done, this was their biggest film. You mentioned that the drone shots, they famously do not like to do establishing shots in their films. A lot of directors, they begin with establishing shots. You see that in the beginning of any movie that takes place in like New York or Philadelphia. There's the fucking shot of the city. And the reason for that is it's distinct and it's iconic. They said, we can't film in Italy without showing you Italy.
Right.
Like, it's absurd to film there and then do only close scenes of like interiors or alleyways. Like, that could be anywhere.
I think they just left that kind of interpretation up too much to the viewer, because
Yes.
he could have met those guys in the hostel, right? And they could have spoken other language to each other a lot around him, which would make you feel like he's kind of on the outs.
I
with
think
them.
you're right.
There's just a couple little things that could have lent itself a little bit more towards how obsessed.
I think you're right. I think
Louise's relationship.
I think the only other work by these guys that you've ever watched has been their Marvel work, like Loki and Moon Knight. So I have seen all of their other movies, and I can say that vagueness and that quality of not, of sort of leaving it up, that's their vibe. That's their style.
Yeah.
If it doesn't hit with you, I totally understand why. I think it's a very stylistic choice.
I don't need to be hit over the head with things.
I totally get it.
But if this movie is meant to really make you feel that these two are connected, I mean, she originally was connected to him for her own metamorphosis.
See, that's the thing is I don't think they are connected. I think
she brings up his lust.
I think
she's like, are you sure it's not just lust?
Yes. I think she uses him to survive. And then he is a young man in pain who just lost the only and most important woman in his life, who has no friends, no future. He meets this beautiful woman who's kind to him and enigmatic and mysterious. And then he discovers, honestly, what a lot of men that age want to hear is, you have the power to change me forever, and if you do, you will have me. And there's a gross element of this. I was very uncomfortable at the end of the movie when he was begging her to give up her immortality for him, because I'm like, bro, you just met this woman. Mm-hmm. You don't know her. And he is clearly operating off of the sort of wild passion of your youth when you're like, when you're 20,
his desperate need to have connection.
When you're 25 years old, it's pretty easy to promise your future to somebody. When you're 40 years old, you're like, yeah, I don't know, man. I need to think about this a little bit. That's a lot you're asking for. And I really did view it as immature.
Yeah.
But I hope it works out. That was the ambiguity for me, is does this work out?
No, it definitely won't work out. We've all been aware of circumstances that you know, either we've been in or people we know have been in,
or she could be like her mother, where she has a child and that child carries on her weird things.
Yeah, maybe.
But I didn't view this as like a perfect love film. It's definitely bad decisions, immaturity, and I think in the end it's sort of bittersweet of like, oh, look at these two guys, they're together, but also, was that really a great idea?
And I think the importance of what happens when you travel.
Sure.
What happens when you travel and leave like your comfort zone, and
you're overstimulated by how new and different everything is, and you also have it in your mind of like, hey, and
everything always seems so much like more enjoyable. Food tastes better.
Yeah, sure.
Even though it might be the same exact food.
And the people who live there every day, all day, are not as enamored with it as you are. Correct. Because they're like, well, this is my normal. Yeah.
So spring.
So your final verdict. Well, how did you deal with like the gore and the body horror?
It was gross.
That was gross? Was that tough?
I tried not to talk about it.
Yeah. But did you think it was a little bit too much?
No. I thought it was weird, and the shots that were kind of ambiguous. Made it a little bit more scary, but I didn't think it was a scary movie at all.
No, it's not. It's not a scary movie. It's more. It's a monster movie, and it's body horror, but it's more philosophical and melancholic.
Yeah.
My happy pills.
Yeah. So I mean, it was fine because you could tell that it was
low budget.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And all of their movies up until they got hired by Disney have been. I
like the subtle changes. I didn't quite understand the injections.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's fine. I think we have like a similar. What it was that?
Yeah.
Where did she get it? The injection thing that kind of staved off the changes.
It seems like a plot device, a little convenient. Yeah.
And it didn't really make sense.
Well, as long as you didn't hate it.
No, I did not hate it.
So that's the thing.
I know you kept wanting me to tell you I hated it.
No. It's not that I want that. It's that I honestly, so I'm very sensitive to the fact that I am asking you, and I look, we know each other, obviously, and I know what your life is like, and I'm asking you to take time out to do a thing that I'm hoping you'll enjoy. And if you don't,
a movie I would have watched.
No, none of these will be. That's the whole point of Made You. It's like, it's not lightly suggested.
Yeah.
I tied you down, and I used like glue that had a time release on it. Like it dissolved after a few hours, but you couldn't move. The thing is, it's like, I don't ever want to choose something that makes you feel like, Jesus Christ, you don't know me at all. Why would you even suggest this?
I did think that a couple of times while watching the movie.
Shit.
Why did he pick this for me? But now that you've explained why, it makes a lot more sense as to why you picked it for me.
See, this is what it takes, folks. We just talk to each other. We can heal our divides. We can heal our divides. We can come together as a people, as one.
Okay. Well, why don't we heal this need for a break? Hey, you. Dealing with that time of the month? Or are you just feeling a little moist in your nethers? If you're dealing with that smelly moss where your bathing suit covers, try Swamp Witch Feminine Care. With Swamp Witch Feminine Care, you can use our wipes, sprays, and cleansers that are all gentle enough for your privates, but strong enough for your smelliest, swampiest, and witchiest stink. You can use them anywhere and anytime. We do recommend that you use after your curses and coven works. This way, you can be fresh for rest and save the stink for your potions. Swamp Witch Feminine Care will cover that smelly nightmare so you can keep scaring all of the village children without missing a beat. Refer a fellow witch and get 10% off your next order. This is a fake ad for a fake product and a horror-themed podcast. We do not believe in smell-shaming swamp or other witches.
Ooh, welcome back. We're going to
So-
talk about a real uplifting,
Yeah,
feel good.
let's talk about the movie that I finally got you to watch. I've been trying to make Richard watch this movie before the podcast even existed.
For 8 years. It came out 8 years ago.
Maybe for like 7 or 6.
Sure, but, come on.
But I don't know. Maybe Richard can tell everybody what his
100%.
initial aversion and ongoing aversion to this film was.
You'll be happy to know. You've asked me this question. I'm saving it for the pod. I have a very specific answer for that.
So I made Richard watch Mother from
Mother!
2017, directed by Darren Aronofsky, starring Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Ed Harris, and Michelle Pfeiffer, and others.
Just an adulation as a side. Still absolute GD smoke show. Michelle Pfeiffer. Holy,
Yeah. I mean,
goddamn. Well done, Michelle.
this film, for those of you who have not watched or who have forgotten, it's about a couple who've moved to a secluded like farmhouse, and it's been restored by Mother, played by Jennifer Lawrence, her older husband, Man, played by Javier Bardem.
Or him,
It is-
actually. His name is Him with a capital
Him,
H.
sorry, it's him. That's what I meant.
Very important. It's a capital H.
Yeah. Is working on his epic poetic masterpiece, but he is stuck. He begins to let disruptors into their sanctuary and then starts to get inspiration from it. So he adds more and more and more. And the characters are named in a way to bring in larger parallels. So Aronofsky said that his inspirations were the Bible, which is...
You don't say.
You know, we can talk about it a lot. Mother represents Mother Earth and also is one with the house. They're connected as one. Him being the creator, man and woman, Ed Harris, Michelle Pfeiffer, Adam and Eve. There are also, this is a psychological horror, very much so. There's also horrific things that happen. And the reason I really wanted Richard to watch it, well, there's a few reasons. Richard has a very kind of, academic understanding of the Bible. So as I was watching this, I thought that he would really like this. He loves Darren Aronofsky movies, even though they're very uncomfortable. There are scenes in this movie that are kind of visual representations of anxiety. So it makes you extremely anxious. You are fully immersed in this kind of fever, nightmare dream of this house and how it starts to kind of fall apart. And Jennifer Lawrence is stunning, and like visually stunning and acting wise stunning. Like her performance is one of her best. And it's called Mother, and that alone causes discomfort. And so I think one of the reasons I wanted those are the main reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is because when I watched this film, A lot of the time, I did not know if I liked it. I kind of hated the film while I was watching it at some point. And then when it ended, I hated it immediately, but then I really thought about it after and I could not stop thinking about it. It stayed with me for weeks. And I was wondering, is this a good movie? Do I like this movie? I did a lot of research to unpack some of the themes in the movie, and I really appreciated the movie for what it offered. And I just really wanted to know from Richard's perspective, is this good? Do we like this movie? So for all of those reasons, I wanted you to watch it, and I made you do it finally.
All right. Those are all good reasons. And let me start by just saying, yeah, this is a great fucking movie. 10 out of 10. I adored this
10
movie.
out of 10.
Yes, 100%.
Wow.
I loved every part of this movie except one small quibble. CGI flames never look good. They never look good. They never look good. They never look good. If you're going to build a really cool looking house and blow up a really cool looking house. Just blow it up. Anyway, aside from that, I love this movie from the first 5 minutes of it. It is something that I can only discuss as somebody who was raised in a very fundamentalist Catholic household, who has read the Bible a couple of times. And in addition to that, I've spent years, analyzing the theology and the history and all of that through schools that I was made to go to and just personal interest. So I saw this from that perspective, meaning within like 5 minutes of the movie, I was like, okay, so that's God, that's Mother Earth, that's definitely Adam and Eve, blah, 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 blah. So it's not a subtle movie.
No.
It is not a movie that makes you guess at its metaphor. When I'll just take you through it from the Bible. There's Cain and Abel. There's the breaking. There's the
played by the Gleason brothers.
Brian.
Did
and
you know
Domhnall
that there
Gleeson.
were Gleason brothers?
I didn't
there?
know that they were in it. I did not know Kristen Wiig was in this movie.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to get to why I haven't watched it yet in a little bit. Going into this, I knew almost nothing. I had a misconception of the movie, and that's why I didn't want to watch it. This movie was nothing like I was expecting, but like I'm saying, I knew what was going on almost immediately. It's just that kind of film.
Yeah.
What was interesting and pleasurable and captivating was just watching it happen. When the, when Cain and Abel do their thing, and you're relating that to the Bible, the expulsion from the poetry room, which is,
the
Eden.
casting out of
The
Eden,
fact
yeah.
that she says, we spend all of our time here and I want to create a paradise. When she finds the crude oil in the basement that becomes the destruction of mankind at the end, like all of these metaphors are really fucking obvious.
Yeah, and the climate change metaphor is very critical
now
to
there
this
are
film.
a number of things. Yeah, there's the very Judeo-Christian. I mean, this is the Bible by Darren Aronofsky. It begins with creation and it ends with the book of Revelation. That's it, and then it begins again.
Fire cleansing.
Exactly. So, the birth of Christ, the death of Christ, the great flood, the destruction of mankind at the end of times.
And then,
the corruption of religion, the writing of the new covenant, the forming of the new covenant when they fuck and she gets pregnant. That's the forming of the new covenant after the great flood.
And also the giving of the body and blood of Christ.
Yeah, I mean, they literally eat baby Jesus in this movie, which is, as a Catholic, when I was a Catholic, when you are in church, what they
From
do
a Catholic lens
is they take, now this is the religion, they take bread, wafers, and wine, and they transmute it through the benediction into the literal blood and body of the deceased Jesus Christ and resurrected Jesus Christ. So even though when you go up there and you're eating it and it's clearly bread, and it is clearly cheap wine, they are telling you what you are actually eating is not a metaphor. It is the literal body and blood of Christ. And for some reason, that's just a thing we're fine with.
I did see on TikTok somebody making Rice Krispie treats with the Eucharist, a bag of Eucharist chips.
That could get you in a certain place kicked out of the Catholic Church.
I'm sure
Doing
it
something
got
like that. Now,
reported.
As a former altar boy, I can tell you that the unconsecrated wafers, that's just bread. You can eat that. Once it becomes consecrated and kept in the tabernacle, it is the literal body of Christ.
Yeah.
So when they're literally eating this baby, which is a hard thing to watch.
Yeah, it's the worst part of the film.
That is Catholicism.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing. But I mean,
well, when you're sitting there in your suit and tie, and your four kids in church eating the body and blood of Christ, maybe take a moment to think about.
This was Aronofsky's visual.
Yeah, what's that really look like?
Kind of representation.
What's it really look like when you drink blood and eat flesh? It doesn't look like a perfectly rounded wafer. So this movie, it does beat you over the head with that. It's also Mother Earth, climate change, mankind taking everything from the earth, giving nothing back. The way religion takes everything from the God. It's just taking. In between, there are one or two people that like help her deliver her baby, and do almost acts of humanity, but it's just drowned out. I mean, this is the city of Nod. It's the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's the biblical, when she causes the earthquake, that's the shattering of the Temple of Solomon. This is just Darren Aronofsky's The Bible. But in addition to that, this is also very much a story of the creator and their relationship with everyone else. Now, if the creator is insecure, needs constant affirmation, reassurance. We steal and we take, whereas a normal person might go through a tragic interaction and be like, wow, that's terrible. A writer will pick apart parts of that to use for a story that ostensibly might make them money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not necessarily an evil thing to do, but think about it. That's a strange thing to do. And I do it. I'm a writer, and I have used elements of my own past that are tragic or sad or whatever to inform my work. That's just the part of it. There is a cannibalism. There is a
one of the most interesting
parasitic
things was
relationship.
He got more creative and more inspired the more he destroyed her
and the
house,
the more of the bullshit
sanctuary.
Surface level quote unquote love his new followers. This woman who had been with him from the beginning, who had given him everything,
devotion.
He was dismissive of her from the first minute. Like at first, before you realize that this is all, allegorical and metaphorical, that you're like, well, Javier Bardem is a real piece of shit husband, but it's the dismissal, the absolute necessity. We need the earth. We need the mother to live. She gives us everything. She's given us everything, and she loves us despite all of it and the things we do. I mean, she's literally beaten. She's sexually assaulted. And then at the end, spoiler, she is burnt to a crisp, but not dead, because the earth doesn't die. And God, Javier Bardem, says, I still need you to love me. After everything, it's the giving tree, essentially. Like, she's the giving tree. I still need you to love me. And she does, because the mother will never stop loving us. The mother may hurt us and it may punish us, but the earth loves us. That's why it tolerates us. And at the end, when he regenerates her to start the whole cycle again, because God admits in that moment that I am empty and nothing will ever be enough. I must be loved by everything all the time. Which is how I've always pictured the Christian God. You have all the powers of reality, but you need apes to love you in order for you to feel happy. That's strange. Is there like a God therapist you could talk to?
One of the best parts of the film, I think, is how Jennifer Lawrence looks. Like how she looks like just the vision of Mary or the vision of an angel. Like there's this glow on her, this innocence, this kind of dough.
very, very difficult to watch her be mistreated relentlessly
and
through this movie.
And she walks around barefoot
Mm-hmm.
and pregnant and in flowy dresses.
Watching this movie.
Very simple hair and makeup. Like, it's so very Mother Earth, very innocent, very love.
This is going to sound very tree hugger of me, and I don't give a fuck. I feel the same way when I go to a city like Phoenix that is so paved and so urbanized, and just everything that is alive has been strip mined and taken, and nothing's been put back. And it just fills me with sadness and dread. I felt that way watching, Jennifer Lawrence be taken from and ignored and laughed at and then abused, and the entitlement, the theft, the assault. It was every cynical feeling I have against my fellow man on the screen in front of me, and it was very, very tough to watch, which is my favorite kind of movie, so I give it 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's another reason I wanted you to watch it, is because I knew that it's the kind of movie that you like. It makes you nauseous. I mean, it does really make the movie makes you nauseous. The movie makes you like really very uncomfortable.
He did the same thing with Pi. He did the same thing with Requiem for a Dream, where while you're watching it, you feel sick.
Yeah.
I thought Ed Harris and especially Michelle Pfeiffer were exceptional.
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer's aggression and entitlement and weird sexuality, like, she was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
An absolute, like, one of the more unsettling portions of the film. Ed Harris did a great job playing.
He was so
just
cruel.
Like a sick, depraved, disgusting human man who like smokes and drinks and doesn't take care of himself and expects everyone else to take care of him.
And if you want to know what gaslighting looks like, this movie's very good.
Really hard to watch.
Very good at showing you what gaslighting looks like.
Kristen Wiig did a great job as like the superficial, very pushy, capitalist. Even just the bit players at the party just being absolute shits and ruining the environment and taking, and it was, if I had seen this in 2017, I have no doubt it would have been my movie of the year.
Yeah.
So, you want to ask me why I didn't watch this?
Well, I just want to tell the audience, for those that haven't watched it, or just to reiterate to those who have watched it, some of the other character names.
I'm going to watch it again for sure.
I'll watch it again with you. Some of the other characters' names. So you talked about the people that show up and
the fool.
There's cupbearer, damsel, consoler, bumbler, fool, wanderer, played by Darren Aronofsky's brother.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of that.
Zealot, pisser, lingerer, loiterer. So it's all these. Kristen Wiig's character is called Harold. So it's just really interesting. I think that, the Madeline Savoy, who's the supplicant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the writing, his new poem, which is the writing of the New Testament, and then just the human reaction, the way that the people reacted to that was so scathing.
Yeah.
And fucking spot on.
Yeah.
Not only for I mean, it's a Judeo-Christian story, but it's just the graft of organized religion, and also the hysteria, and then the inevitable tragedy of trying to take a group of religiously fanatical crazy people and see if you can use them for your needs. It ends in fire and destruction.
Yeah.
But I especially like that God in this movie was the insecure, weird perv that I have always feared.
Always just focused on ego.
Yes. Whenever it was explained to me,
why you didn't want to watch it, though?
I'll get to that. Whenever it was explained to me in religion, and I got in trouble for this a lot in school, I just always would throw back to them, the way you are describing this all-powerful being to me terrifies me. That he is in need of worship, that he has very specific rules that seem very human-centric to follow. That he won't answer questions, things like that. That he can make planets but not talk to us, stuff like that. Anyway, the reason I didn't watch this is a very stupid reason. This movie came out in 2017, and in 2017, and on a personal level, I was going through some family issues, and I thought the movie was literally about Michelle Pfeiffer playing like an insane mother who moves in with a newlywed couple and ruins their lives. And I was not in the space to watch a thing like that. And I never, ever bothered to learn about it, which is odd for me. I usually don't close myself off to things. Now, being told to do a thing and watch a thing always makes me not want to do it, no matter what it is. Even if it's eat breakfast, like I don't, it's a fucking character flaw. But I did not know what this movie was about until I was watching it. Now, again, within minutes of watching the movie, I'm like, oh shit, I get it. But I'm only speaking to somebody who has a pretty hefty background in both theology and the lived experience of being a Catholic and a Christian. And also, I grew up on Long Island. I had a ton of Jewish friends, went to yeshiva and Hebrew school, went to a lot of, I didn't go, but they did. I went to a lot of like bar and bat mitzvahs, so I'm familiar with that side of things as well. So this movie was kind of like easy for me to jump into. I do see a steep learning curve for somebody unfamiliar with these sorts of things.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that's another thing.
The allegory of Mother Earth and climate change, that works.
The Bibling of it all.
The Bible, it's Aronofsky. I don't think he's ever made a movie that wasn't like his dealing with the Bible. Maybe the new Austin Butler one will have less Bible.
Well, it sounds like it was a success all around.
Oh, I'm so pleased.
But I won.
You always do. You always do. And I don't know, is that because I love everything, or is that because your taste is impeccable, or is it both?
Could be both. I guess we'll let the audience decide, because they've had enough of my opinions to know. Not enough of them
I see.
like end listening.
Yeah.
Anyway,
back to the cellar for me.
You're going to have to stop listening to this episode because we're done. Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our theme was written and performed by Carrie Denver, and all other music was written and performed by David Suspanic. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. We're